Are you a final expense telesales agent that really wants to take your career to the next level? You want to make six figures, you want to find success, but you need to know some tips to really help you launch and last in an industry that eats up 90% of the agent force? Well, my friends, you found the right video. I'm going to give you 5 tips that you can absolutely take to heart, and hopefully these tips will take your career to the next level. It's so important that you level up and get yourself into a place that you can be powerful, but also that you can be competent and very confident in a very simple industry. This industry is just lined with professional marketers blowing up your email, telling you that you can make six figures, telling you if you have this special widget, somehow you'll make the wealth. Nothing can be further from the truth. Be cautious, be careful, all right, my friends, because 90% of the agent force fails. And sometimes you don't get a second chance to have a positive push into a career that could really give back to you as you give back to your prospects. So before I go into these 5 powerful tips, my name's Jason and I'm your friend in the business. I'm so blessed to partner with, my goodness, some of the most amazing agents as well as agencies selling life, Medicare, and annuities together here at jasonfinalexpense.com. And if you need any resources, they're there for the taking, no matter what work family that you're with, including lead resources where you can get leads 90 days old or less for talking less than $2 a piece. So jasonfinalexpense.com if we can serve you. But let's get after how we can make you more successful. 5 tips, grab pen and paper if you're ready. Tip number 1, you've got to actually train. If you want to actually realize the powerful levels of success that you can attain, you've got to actually train like your career depends on it. This is your career. This is your calling. This is not your job. This isn't, oh, sit on your couch, work for an hour a day. Everybody calls you and somehow you're going to make piles of cash. This business comes from effort. It's an effort business. Those that do are those that get. And if you won't train, you won't experience the wealth. Period. All right. This is not unicorn fairy dust falling from the skies. You're not going to make six figures if you're not working. You're not going to sit, okay, on your couch, drinking, watching TV, eating bonbons, and somehow building an empire. My friends, you've got to train. You've got to get out of your soft spaces. You've got to truly be focused. Actual training will help you translate a business that's simple in easier ways, but the business will beat you up, my friends. It's just lined with agents that have gone before you that have failed because they failed to train. In all of my career, and I've run major call centers, let me tell you, I did that for years. And the agents that fail to train. They think they got it made in the shade, and they end up in a place that is anything, okay, from what you want in your career. They never find success because if you don't get out of your soft spaces, if you don't mentor, if you don't practice, you don't get yourself ready. Perfect practice makes perfect. All right. You've got to get yourself into a place that you practice, you drill, rehearse so that you're ready for what will come at you. This business is tough. You're going to get told a lot of no's, a lot of rejection will happen, and belief is the backbone of a simple business. But you've got to have master sales trainers, world-class trainers that can help pour into you so that you can have a chance, not a guarantee, a chance of finding success. You've got to be all in. You've got to train like this is it. This is Custer's last stand. I'm going to get this done. You got to put everything of yourself into every sales call. If you want to get everything out of this very simple career, you can make six figures. You can make seven figures in this industry, but it's never promised. When 90% of the agent force failed because they thought it was easy. They thought they didn't have to make many calls. They thought they were just going to call leads and everyone was going to buy from them. Beats up a lot of agents, my friends. Success is earned every day by what we do and what we don't do. But agents that fail actually don't train, they don't show up, and half the battle sometimes is just showing up. So once you've trained, tip number 1, you've taken that to heart. You're like, Jason, I got this. All right. Number 2, you've got to believe in yourself and actually buy the leads. Agents that are trained, mentored, ready to make the money, if you don't buy leads, you don't have anyone to see. You've got no customers, no potential clients, and you might as well close up shop. You've got to actually buy the leads, and I mean buy them weekly. Now, if you don't have a lot of money, fine. Reach out at jasonfinalexpense.com. We'll get you some of the best priced aged leads that are TCPA compliant and have been DNC scrubbed. You can be successful. Start there. Don't stay there. Launch forward, my friends. Get new leads as fast as you can, but you've got to actually buy leads. Buy leads. Leads are everything. All right, in this industry, you've got to have people. You got to have people if you want to make your paper. You got to get after it. All right. So agents that find success, they actually buy leads every week and they're ready to launch. Agents that don't train, agents that aren't competent and confident. Maybe you were handed a free script, a fancy website. Hope you make it. Hope you make it, buddy. See ya. All right, those agents don't find success because they're not confident enough to even buy a lead, much less call one. But buying leads is half the battle. So first off, number one, train, like your career depends on it. Number two, as we're discussing, actually buy your leads. Now, leads in and of themselves don't work unless you work the leads. Tip number three, action solves all your problems. If you don't take action on the daily, you're going to have the opportunity taken away from you. This business is all about you putting the best of yourself in every call. But if you're trained and you know what to do, fantastic. Now, tip number two, you want to find success. You've bought the leads, great, but sitting on them ain't going to do nothing. If you bought brand new leads and you refuse to call them, or just maybe you used avoidance behavior to rationalize somehow while you're, sitting, while you're not doing this, you're not going to get. You've got to actually call. Action will fix your problems, and agents that don't take action don't even have a chance of realizing success in this very simple business. Be trained, buy the leads. Now actually call them. Tip number three, you've got to call yourself to action. You've got to work these leads like somebody else is going to get access to them, because the final expense client is going to most likely at some point get called by somebody else, especially if you bought a Facebook lead. Yes, it's exclusive. It's only yours, of course. But the problem is the Facebook feed is now being filled up with the algorithm of final expense, burial insurance, whole life insurance. Click here, click here, click here, click here. If this isn't clicking in you right now, you've got to have a sense of urgency. Action, action, action. You got to move if you want to make that money. You got to get in line first, like a kid that sees that cake. All right, get after it. Go, go, go if you want to get. All right, in this industry. So tip number three, action is everything. Tip number four, now that you've taken action and you're calling leads like a rock star, if you want to actually realize success, you've got to assume the business. You've got to have courage, not only to make the calls, of course, but courage to close. It takes courage. That's why you need to go through a 5-day telemastery program and be ready, like what we offer here at jasonfinalexpense.com. We are all about mentoring and ongoing training and support, and not this like, okay, go get a 20-minute session somewhere. No, we're about long-term success. This is everything. You've got to assume the business. You've got to get better. You've got to practice. You got to drill. You got to rehearse. Even when you're a rock star, rock stars know that iron sharpens iron. You want to have more success? Well, train just a little bit more. Go to that next level if you want to be able to have a chance to really profit in this industry. But assume the business. If you bought the leads, you've gone and you're just calling. Give the client, the potential consumer here, a call to action. Assume the business. You're going to lose 100% of the business that you don't assume. You got to lean in. You got to uncover their problems. Now your product's a solution. Well, put a little bow on it and get ready to really engage. It's all about engagements. All right. The more calls you make, the more money that you can make, but it's not guaranteed. All right. This business looks a little rough sometimes. You got some days you're overpaid, some days you're underpaid, some days you're the bug, some days you're the windshield, some days you're the rock star, some days you feel like you're a rock at the bottom of the lake. All right, I'm telling you, this business is one where it takes courage. But you got to assume the business with just care in you, all right? Not this commission breath that most agents can be victim of when they've not been properly trained. You've got to be all in or not at all. This is not a job. This is a career. It's a call, my friends, but you've got to assume business. Or I will tell you right now, you're going to assume a position that's not power and profitability. All right. Now, tip number five, you've got to have the courage to repeat it. This isn't a one-hit wonder. Back to number one, go train again. Back to number two, buy leads on the weekly. Back to number three, I got to call them again. That sounds boring, right? You want to bring in those bucks? This is a very simple industry, and it's so simple that a lot of agents can't see themselves doing it because the shiny object syndrome can happen to you. If you want to find massive levels of success, call to action, assume the business, rinse and repeat, and do it all again. I hope this helps you. So many agents just don't train. So many agents say they want the wealth and don't want to work. It's like a 4-letter word these days. And if you've got work ethic, you've got a just kind heart about you, and you've got this thick skin to be able to handle all the rejection, and you're one that's like, listen, I can train. I want to train like my career depends on it. I'd rather practice in a safe place than to put my money on the table and have it all taken away because you buy a bunch of leads and you haven't been effectively trained and they say, I want you to mail it to me. You're going to go, nuts. Click. That just costs you some cash. The other call comes up and they say, mail it to me. You're like, what do I say? Click. That call just costs you a whole lot of cash. This is why tip number one, actually training, is so pivotal to you finding profitability. Be prepared so that you can be that person that is ready to take care of their needs. Be that problem solver. You're their humble servant. And you know what? I hope this helps you find greater levels of success. If we can do anything to be a help to you, reach out. We'll serve you in any way we can. Remember, you've got what it takes, and take amazing care of these great people. They need you. We'll see you soon.